Okay, bug control, fertilizer, and stuff. I take care of my own yard. Like I've told you before, you can hire a company to do this and you don't have to worry about any of this. I do it. It's all I can do anymore. So I was going to show you some of the stuff that I use that I get locally. I've got a guy that is a so-called grass expert, and I get it off of him. It works. I'm not saying so far that it's working perfectly. This is all new stuff for me this year, or at least most of it is. So I'm going to have to give it time to see how it really works. So I'm going to show it to you. Try to read some of this stuff for you so you can see what it is. Some of you recognize, most of you that's never lived here, you won't. Okay. First of all, Scott's for southern lawns, and it's supposed to help us in the heat and the drought, and it's good for about 3 months and so on and so forth. That's what they recommended for zoysia grass. We have zoysia lawns here in Hillsboro, so it's a particular grass we have to deal with. And I've been using Scott's what do you call it, weed control fertilizer, weed and feed. And I got a big no-no from the guy saying don't ever use a weed and feed down here for zoysia lawns. There's a chemical in weed and feed that apparently it treats zoysia grass like a weed, and it starts to kill the lawn slowly but surely. And apparently that's what I've been doing. So we'll see. I quit using it. This is just a lawn food, period. The next thing that I have to use, and I haven't used this yet, is fungus control. And I'm not supposed to put this on until the 1st of March. He gave me a paper that has all this stuff on it. Moist. And so we use this fungus control about this time of year to control the fungus that could be down by the roots. And then he gave me this. So this is supposed to be in March, and it's a weed and feed. And then after he told me not to use a weed and feed, he suggested this. And so when I asked him about it, I said, well, this is a weed and feed, right? You can see it right there, weed and feed. He goes, but this doesn't have that chemical in it that Scott's has. That could be a sales pitch right there, I don't know. So anyway, I got it, I took it. I'm going to actually told me not to put this down until after the first full moon in March. That could be an old wives' tale too, I don't know. And then I got to use this Tall Star granulated insecticide. You put this down about once every 2 or 3 months. The bug, it takes care of a lot of bugs. Let me try to get to where you can see it. The bug that we're really concerned about is that ugly critter right there. Can you see it? That is a mole cricket. Yeah, ugly name for an ugly bug, but it will kill your lawn. I had them the first year I was down here. My grass, you could pick it up by the chunks. It was dead down to the roots, and I had an infestation of mole crickets. What I've been using up to this point is this Ortho Bug Be Gone insect killer for lawns, and it's also for, where they at, there they are, right there, mole crickets. Where they at? There it is, mole crickets. Every other month, and so far I haven't seen any mole crickets or anything. And I also throw it in my flower beds because it's good for spiders, chinch bug, ticks, fleas, all those other kind of little things. I guess it helps. Doesn't hurt anything. And the other thing that you're going to probably use in Florida is palm food. I got this Palm Game. It's a 8-2-12, and it has magnesium, iron, and sulfur. And I know for palm trees, the big ingredient here, it seems, is magnesium. It really needs, the palm trees need a lot of magnesium. So I use that about, I've already fertilized them now, so I won't do it for at least another month, maybe 2, but yeah. And then you're going to hear all kinds of stories. They put it around the drip edge and so on and so forth. I don't do that. I usually come out about, I don't know, a foot and a half from the base of the tree, and I put a nice circle of a heavy dose of fertilizer around the tree, and that's it for a couple of months, and I haven't had any problem. So my trees are all fairly new. They're all, the one out in the front yard is a Sylvester, and the Sylvester palm is a slow growing palm, so I haven't used it a whole lot around there. While we're talking about palm trees, let me go out here and show you a couple of things. This is a Sylvester palm, and you can see how the fronds look, and the trunk of the tree. It's a pretty good sized tree when I put it in. This tree, I got this off an old feller that was retiring when I first moved here. His name was Earl, in Leesburg. Had a big tree farm down there. I guess his kids didn't want it, so he was just selling everything off. And I bought that tree when it was 8 foot. And how they measure a tree is not from the base of the trunk to the top of the tree. The tree is measured by the base. A lot, but it has grown, I can tell you, because I've trimmed off from about here. I've trimmed this circle off, this circle off, this circle off, and now I'm starting to get up into this area here. If you get a Sylvester palm, they're a beautiful tree. There's different varieties of them. It's like I say, it's a long-lasting tree, 100 years or something. But be very careful. Let me show you something about them that I didn't know until I got this one. Can you see this right here? I hope I can get that. That is one of hundreds of thousands of thorns in the branches of these things. I get a good shot of that one right on the tip right there. Those things are sharp. I mean, they are deadly sharp. So when you trim these or walk around them, do not run into them. Do not reach up and just grab a branch because it looks like something to touch. Those things will hurt you, and hurt you bad. One of our trash guys is off because on Wednesday we set out yard waste, and there was a bag of these that somebody had chopped up and put them in a yard waste bag, as he should. And the guy at the picking it up, either he was inexperienced or just forgot, but he grabbed the bag and one of them thorns went through the bag and went through his hand, and they had to take him up to the emergency room to get it removed. So they'll hurt you. This palm tree here, these are ones that most resembles what I would consider a palm, the way it sways in the breeze. The leaves are very gentle. They as you can see how they sway in the breeze. This is called a queen palm. It's a fairly fast growing tree. I mean, it doesn't grow like 6 foot a year or nothing like that, but when I first got it, that first cut right there on that limb, where's it at? Right there? That's where it was at. And I've cut it there all the way around. And then this year I cut that section up there. Where's it at? Up there. Next one up all the way around. And where it looks like we're okay for a while, but I can see by looking at the tips of the lower limbs, like this one here, the very tip there starting to turn yellow, so it'll be here for a while, but I'm gonna have to trim those off too. There's not a trunk to a tree. It's a very fibrous trunk all the way up. These trees will bend with the wind, and the leaves that come out of it come out of the center of the tree. Matter of fact, if you look real hard past the mature leaves, I'll call them prawns, you can see the new leaf coming out of the center. I was going to try to open this up to get it up there and show you, but I can't do it with this thing. But anyway, the leaves comes out of the center. As you cut them off here, new leaves comes through the center, just like a banana tree, and comes out up to there. But there's no thorny things on these leaves. There's no prickly things on these leaves. You still got to be careful with them because the edges of them can hurt you if you don't grab them right. But all in all, this is a very gentle tree. They all need maintenance. And when I had that other video showing you the cold snap and the damage it done, I told you I was going to trim this up. I did. And as you can see, it's starting to come back already. As soon as it gets hot down here, that's when everything starts to grow. And we're in the 80s now pretty much every day. Get some of this crap off of here. But you can see all the new, if you get up here and look at it, you can see all the new vegetation coming out. Every leaf or every limb is like that. Every limb is like that. All the new things coming out here. And there's my buddy looking at me. So, okay. I trimmed my robollinis, if you remember right, by looking at the other video, how brown they was after the cold snap. And the expert advice I got, and of course you can see my fertilizer down there too. I fertilized everything. Said trim all the dead stuff off. But if there's any sign of any green on the prawn, leave it, because it'll help, absorb some of the sunlight to help rejuvenate the plant. And hopefully we can save all 3 of these branches here. It took 4 years for me to get this. I got a branch here, and I got a branch over there, and I got a branch here, and I want to keep all 3 of them. But as you can see on this one here, we've done some trimming. There ain't much left, but I did leave those 3 green, the several green ones over there. I keep looking for new growth because it'll come out of the center here. And I haven't really seen any new growth on any of them yet. I keep watching. Well, this one here might be. This is a maybe. See if I can get this stuff out of the way so you can see. You see that little leaf right here? Right there? Coming out of the center. That might be a new leaf growing there. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on it, see what happens. Rest of these out here are doing good. Flowers are starting to bloom on them. As you can see, these things will be covered in blooms when they all start popping, and they all look like that. They'll be covered. I trimmed all the brown stuff out of these. I didn't really cut this one out here because it's coming out. Whoops, it just came out, so there you go. I'm trying to protect the center of it. That's where the new growth will come from, so I don't see anything there. I trimmed this all up down to almost nothing. So far I don't see any new growth there at all. And if it doesn't grow, then I'll have to take it out. So anyway, that's it for the update and the yard information, fertilizer information, and things of that nature. So hopefully that'll help. This is our bottle brush. It's getting that blooming time of the year. So you see all these things here like this, and for those women over there years ago that had babies and had to actually wash the glass bottles, that's what the bottle brush looked like, from what I can remember, because that's what we did. We had babies with glass bottles. We had to sterilize them and all that stuff. This plant here I'm going to remove. This is called a Mexican petunia. This one here. All these flowers will fall off today. They're only good for 24 hours. They all fall off today, and there'll be a whole new of flowers on it tomorrow. Then all of them will fall off, and then there'll be a whole new bunch of flowers the next day. Problem with this thing is it spreads. And my wife planted it here, and it's just in a bad place. And I'm going to put it someplace else. I'm not 100% sure where yet. I've had my thoughts. Look at that big boy down there. See how black he is? Can you see him down there? Underneath the air conditioner? I had my thoughts of planting it right here. I haven't done it yet. I had one of our poinsettias planted there after Christmas 4 years ago. I planted it right there, and then the air conditioning water right there kept it watered, and that poinsettia got to be, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet tall. And in the wintertime it was all red on top. I had people who used to come here and take pictures of it because they said they'd never seen a poinsettia that big, but down here a poinsettia will grow wild. I sprayed my yard. Looks like it's doing a pretty good job right through here. You can see the difference. See all the weeds over here in my neighbor's yard? See this? All them weeds? Then look over here. It's not perfect, but they're still dying. You can see them dying there. Yeah. I don't know what that stuff's called, but they're dying. So, okay. Alright, that'll be it for the update this week. Didn't get any videos of any open houses or anything. My back's killing me. I don't know what happened. So I haven't really been out running around doing anything, except just kind of tinkering around the yard here. So I'll post this, see, today's Sunday. I'll post this for Monday morning. So you early risers, when you have your coffee, will be able to see what's going on. That's a plant my wife bought. I think that's going to be one of those viney things. I think she wants to plant right there where it goes there. So anyway, that'll be it for today. Till then, I guess I'll see you on the other side. I want to give a special shout out to Jeanne E. Rogers. Her bio, she's an award-winning author. She writes children's books, and she had sent me a couple of books for my grandsons. I have one. This is terrible of me, I know. He's like 10, and then the other one is 4. So she sent a couple of books. Here's called One Hot Mess. Right there, y'all can see that. And the pictures in them are really vibrant with colors, which I think the kids will really relate to the colors. And then she sent the other one, probably for the older boy. It seemed like an older book, called Kahana. I think I'm saying that right, Kahana. This book here is a fairly recent release, according to the bio. It's a new release. If you want to see her books or what all she does, and you'd like to order maybe a book, she's at the on the Amazon author page, or https://bit.ly/author, capital J, capital E, capital R, OGERS, which is actually her name. OGERS is small caps. So what I'll do is I'll put a link down below. She also sent a nice little note, so I appreciate it. Jeannie, it's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. And that way, if you want to go see her books, maybe buy one for your grandchildren. They seem to be very well done. So thanks, Jeannie. I appreciate it. Sorry I'm so late doing this, but I very much appreciate it. And oh, also I want to take a shout out to a guy. Sorry, I can't remember your name. The other day I went down to get my hair cut. I know you can't tell, right? It's a mess today. I've been outside, it's windy. I went down to Cal's to get my hair cut by Donna, my favorite barber, and they were full inside. Wintertime down here, it's just crowded everywhere. So I was sitting outside on the bleachers, and I told Donna, my barber, to come out and get me when she was ready for me. Well, while I was sitting outside, the guy comes strolling by. Apparently he watches my videos, and he was down here, if I understood the story correct, he's down here basically checking out the villages, and he really loves it. I think he said his wife is starting to warm up to it, because I don't know, apparently people thought that I was downgrading the villages or something. I don't know, but boy, if they're thinking that's what I'm doing, I'm I'm by far not doing that. The Villages is a wonderful place. I'm not going anywhere. It would take a lot to get me out of here. But I just think you ought to know all the good, all the bad. And I know the Villages, they do what they do. Well, I do what I do. So anyway, forget your name. Sorry, but I enjoyed the conversation. I hope your wife warms up. I hope things works out for you. So until then, once again, I'll see you on the other side.